and incorporating supernatural elements, Akunin creates a literary work that defies easy categorization. ND intrigue, as well as to challenge readers' expectations. By blending genres and incorporating supernatural elements, Akunin creates a literary work that defies easy categorization. It is worth noting that the supernatural in Russian literature has not always been deployed for purely aesthetic or philosophical purposes. In many cases, supernatural elements have served as a means of resistance and subversion against oppressive forces. For example, during the Soviet period, writers who wished to criticize the regime often turned to allegory and fantasy as a means of circumvent of resistance and subversion against oppressive forces. For example, during the Soviet period, writers who wished to criticize the regime often turned to allegory and fantasy as a means of circumvent censorship. One notable example of this is the story The Day of the Oprichnik by Vladimir Sorokin. The story is set in a dystopian Russia of the near future, where a new order called the Tsar's Russia has said the current government. The story follows a member of the Tsar's personal guard, known as an Oprichnik, as he carries out brutal acts of violence and repression. However, in the midst of this horror, said the current government. The story follows a member of the Tsar's personal guard, known as an Oprichnik, as he carries out brutal acts of violence and repression. However, in the midst of this horror, the supernatural begins to intrude. The Oprichnik begins to experience hallucinations and unexplained phenomena that suggest the new regime is not as stable or secure as it appears. Sorokin's use of the supernatural in The Day of the Oprichnik is highly effective. The juxtaposition of the mundane and the uncanny creates a sense of heightened anxiety and tension. Moreover, the St. Rai serves as a powerful critique of authoritarianism and the dangers of blindly following a powerful leader. Rai serves as a powerful critique of authoritarianism and the dangers of blindly following a powerful leader. Furthermore, the use of the supernatural in Russian literature reflects the broader cultural and historical context in which these works were written. The themes of political and social oppression, eruption, and the struggle for independence and freedom are all reflected in the supernatural elements of these works. Eruption, and the struggle for independence and freedom are all reflected in the supernatural elements of these works. Moreover, the incorporation of supernatural creatures and events is not unique to Russian literature alone, it is a feature of many literary traditions across the globe. However, the use of the supernatural in Russian literature is distinctive due to the cultural and historical significance of these elements. For instance, the use of the vampire in Russian literature has been seen as a reflection. Natural in Russian literature is distinctive due to the cultural and historical significance of these elements. For instance, the use of the vampire in Russian literature has been seen as a reflection of the country's political instability, particularly during the Tsarist period. Similarly, the use of Ukrainian folklore in Gogol's V exemplifies the complex cultural interactions between different Slavic nations. It is through the incorporation of these diverse elements that Russian literature has created a unique literary tradition that continues to captivate readers around the world. Russian literature has created a unique literary tradition that continues to captivate readers around the world. In recent years, the popularity of Russian literature has soared, with an increasing number of translations becoming available worldwide. Works by contemporary authors such as Dmitry Glukovsky, Sergei Lukyanenko, and Viktor Pelyevian have brought the supernatural into the 21st century, exploring themes of technology, globalization, and the environment. These authors continue to explore the nexus between Lukyanenko and Viktor Pelyevian have brought the supernatural into the 21st century, exploring themes of technology, globalization, and the environment. These authors continue to explore the nexus between the supernatural and social critique, adapting traditional themes and motifs to contemporary realities. As readers, we can learn much about the human experience through the supernatural elements of literature. From Russian vampires to Soviet dystopias, the supernatural in Russian literature has served as a means of exploring complex social and cultural issues that transcend national borders and time periods. As a means of exploring complex social and cultural issues that transcend national borders and time periods. Perhaps most importantly, the supernatural in Russian literature reminds us of our innate desire to understand the mysteries that surround us. Whether it is the allure of the unknown, the fear of the unseen, or the hope for a better future, the supernatural allows us to tap into the deep human need for connection and meaning.